Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to From the Verse, where we have a talk show where we talk about everything that's going on in Star Citizen. And this is From the Verse number 14. And we're going to be talking about the recently released version 0.9 and all of its splendor and all of its troubles, too. We just want to share everything with you. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Let's bring up Cat's Lot. Well, you're not Cats anymore, are you? You are now.
I've
Marius.
changed my Marius. Yeah, Marius, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, Marius.
That works.
As you wanted to make it more Roman, I take it for the Roman Empire. I mean the Empire of Earth.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay.
So.
You could have been Polo.
Pulo.
Or what's his name? The Centurion. I don't even remember their names, but okay. Well, let's just dig into it because we've got a lot to talk about, as you already know. We've got quite a bit of information that's going to be shared. I have some video footage that I will bring up and let you guys kind of watch as we talk through. You won't necessarily see our faces when you're watching this stream, but when you do, don't laugh. Okay, so this is Marius. He's in my organization, and we, have this weekly show that we talk about everything. And if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to type them up on the chat in Twitch, because we're on Twitch live 8:30 every Thursday, 8:30 Central Time, and that's twitch.tv/RoyalGN, which is the gaming network. Okay, so what have we been doing in the real world to get ready for Star Citizen? Like, Marius, what are you doing?
Well, if for the few people that have been watching, I'm still having problems with my joystick. Still waiting for an update. Trying to figure out how to fix my issue with the joystick and the throttle being flipped. I figured out how to turn though. The little dial RTY4 on the Rhino. That actually turns my ship. What axis is it? It yaws it.
That's messed up.
Yeah, having problems with that. But other than that, for right now, that's all I'm doing. I'm just trying to get all my my computer working so that I can actually play the game. Because until that works, I just don't have really desire to play the game. Because that's what I want to learn it on, is my joystick.
This is what you want to do. Uninstall the drivers for the X55. Uninstall the Rhino software, the X55, what do they call it? Rhino Smart Technology, whatever they call it. Uninstall that so you don't have either one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Then go to their website, find the newest driver and the newest Rhino controls pattern. Download only the drivers first, install those. When that's done, then go back and download the Rhino control scheme, or whatever they call it. Once you get those on there, don't use them. Push them to the side. And when you so you don't go into them, you don't set them up, you don't adjust them, you don't mess with them at all. You go into Star Citizen and you pick X55 and you won't have any problems.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll do that then.
You have to install the drivers first.
Okay.
Yeah, someone's saying we should call you Mary.
Yeah. let's not call me Mary.
All right.
No. Nova? That is not cool.
Is that someone you know?
It might be somebody I know, yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay. Well, I have been working with my X55, and it works fine for me. I mean, but then again, I follow the instructions. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I installed the drivers first, and then the software second. And I tried using the software, and plus I tried using TeamSpeak, and TeamSpeak has a problem with causing it to be a problem. So made some adjustments on the TeamSpeak. I've even played it without the TeamSpeak, and my joystick and hat and HOTAS and everything else seems to be working just fine. It's not. I'm not having any problems with it. But when I go with the Track IR, because I've reattached my Track IR, boy, is it hard to aim with the Track IR. I'm sitting here going, trying to turn my head and stuff like that, and I can't get the crosshair. I mean, you'll see it in this video because I'm going to show it. I'm going to show this video when we play it, and you guys can all laugh at me. My head's twitching all over the place. But you don't actually see me, luckily. I don't have a camera on me. But you can get the idea with the circle moving everywhere. Okay, so let's talk about what just recently happened in Star Citizen. There's quite a bit actually happened at CIG. First of all, most important thing, version 9 did come out. Okay, version 0.9. What else? We had a patch just today, actually. We had 13.0.2, which supposedly fixes the no match found. Okay, so guess what? On my second attempt to get into a co-op Vandal Swarm, it took me maybe 5 seconds. I mean, it was quick. The first one, it took me about 5 seconds to find a match, but I sat on the loading screen of the match for probably about 5 minutes. I gave up and restarted my game client, and then hit it again, and then 5 seconds later, I was in a match.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it was. Those are my only 2 attempts since the patch today, but it seemed like it was really good. Like it's a good patch. Now we'll see over the long run after we play more games, but the private servers are still down, so you can't invite your buddies. But if I find a match and I have a match code, I can give you that code and you can jump into it. So it's not private, it's a public match, but if you have the code, you can still jump into it. That's my understanding. We haven't tried it yet. Also, you've got the Lego Hornet. Okay, they're trying to get Lego to make the Hornet official, an official Star Citizen toy or whatever. But they want to see the commitment of the community, so they want us to sign up saying, yeah, that is something that's really cool. Yeah, so go onto the website and get on their poll and see if you want it or not, and that way you can kind of have a little influence on what kind of Legos the Lego company makes. We also hit 53 million. I am going to bring up a poll. I forgot I was going to bring this up, but let me go ahead and bring it up. They have a poll, which I've already... That's not an alarm. There we go. That's not the poll. That's not the poll. There we go. Blah blah blah. That's not. I'll find it. Oh, letter from the chairman. There we go. There's a poll about what do you want next, or what do you want to see in the game. Okay, I'm not even going to scroll down to the poll yet, but this is what I think. I think that he's going to include all of this anyway. It's all going to be in the game. I mean, he's already got this envision of what he wants, and he's got a long list of stuff already that he already knows what he's going to have. But he pulled a few of the key items off of that list, and he gave them to us to kind of see what we thought was the most important, or the most exciting. But don't fret if yours isn't on the top of the list. You're still probably going to see it. It just might not be first. It might take him an extra, release or two before you see it. But let's scroll down. First thing was unlocked was the Independent Arbitrators Guild, which basically means lawyers. Okay, moving down. These are the poll options. You got a ballistic cannon, a 15mm cannon. Okay. The mass driver is 60mm, so Then you got laser cannon. We've already got laser cannons in the game. Ballistic Gatling. Okay, so I went over this earlier with my first-person shooter video, but there's a difference between like ballistic weapons and compression weapons. A ballistic is basically, you know, it has a shell casing, and it has an accelerator in the shell casing. When it blows up, it projects the bullet. And so, and when you see ballistic, well, that's got to be what you're talking about. And then, but this one will have like 2 magazine feeds, so that you can change between different ammo types. Laser repeater, we have those. A neutron cannon, we already have that. Missiles, okay. What's special about this missile is it delivers an EMP payload. So basically, it will knock out systems, or it'll hit you and cause you to lose power or something like that. And then you got the power plant. Guess what? Their ships are going to have power plants. Shield Generator Ramp Corporation. Okay, well, it's basically ships are going to have shields. Cooling is just a different type of cooler. So people are voting on this stuff, and I voted on a new type of missile, the EMP payload one. But that doesn't mean that's right. That's just the one. I thought it was something new and different that we haven't already seen. You can see the vote percentages. I know this is kind of like a spoiler, but 22 people wanted the ballistic Gatling gun, which, okay, that's kind of cool. That was my second choice, but I chose this one. Okay, so that's that. That's what we see on the... And the last thing they've announced is the PAX Australia. They're getting ready to go to PAX Australia. That's supposed to be at the end of next month.
I'm going to ask you a question real quick, Mystery.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, with all those weapons, what happened to the ones that were for the entry? Remember the weapons that they did for the Next Great Starship? What happened to those? Are those just gone? Are they still in the game?
Those are... I'm sure they were saved somewhere. They're not finished, you know, but they could easily be just taken and put into the game somewhere.
Okay, because that's what I think is they should like let us choose like which one of those should be put into the game or something like that.
Well,
or at least, you know,
all of those guns are exactly the same.
Oh, they were? Oh, okay.
Yeah, every one of those is just a different look.
Oh, okay.
Because what they were trying to do is like, what is your version of this type of gun? What does it look like? How does it act? You know, how is it animated? So every one of those is the same type of gun, but just made differently. So,
oh, okay. Okay.
So it could be, they could put them into the game though. You know, they could change the stats on them.
Okay. I just think it'd be cool because some of them will just look awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I agree. And some of them that some people got axed early, you know, that were doing good on their ships. I thought they were gonna, you know, they had some good ideas too, but not everybody can be a winner. If you're not first, you're last.
Yeah.
All right. And if you haven't figured it out, that's the dryer. Okay. And so it's saying it's been, I don't know, what is it, 1-2 minutes? Okay. And that brings us basically to the main subject of the show. Okay. And the main subject of the show is we're going to talk about everything that's happened in version 9 of Star Citizen, basically. The Arena Commander module, what do you call it? Arena Commander and the Hangar module and the dogfighting and all that. We're going to talk about all of that, okay? Now, in the background, I'm going to have a video playing where it's just to keep your eyes happy while we talk, okay? And you guys can, and if you got any questions, please ask about anything on here. We'll try to address that, okay? So here, there you go. Now I'm going to turn the volume a little bit down so that doesn't kind of interrupt us. There we go. First thing we want to talk about is the different hangars. Okay, you've got the Aero View hangar, you've got the Self-Land hangar, the Revel in York hangar, and the VFG industrial hangar, which is basically the asteroid hangar. So, like, oh, lost you. What happened? You disconnected. Sorry, guys. He disconnected on us. Trying to get him back. Are you there?
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
I have no idea.
Okay. Well, that's okay. So what about those hangars? Like, which hangar did you pick for yourself?
I got the Revel in York.
What was your motivation behind that?
It is just amazing looking, and with the lore of the game for my
Losing you.
this, hey, come to my place. I've got this stylish pad that I've worked up to and sort of a thing, and he's going to be more of a
And that's what I got.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you now.
Weird. I chose it because it's the style of it, the look of it. I like the wood, and it's very modern and futuristic at the same time. It's very elegant, but yet sharp and beautiful. And like with my character, he wants like the finer things in life, and I think this is the best hangar out of all four of them that they have so far.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I picked AeroView because I didn't want to go Selfland because I figured that was too bargain basement for me, but Revel in York was a little bit too ostentatious, and I'm trying to stay with a military look and feel. I thought about VFG just because it's so unique and different, but now more that I thought about it, I was like, everybody's probably got a VFG, so it's hard to say. I know a lot of people want to be get that huge hangar, the Revel in York, because it is kind of large. You get seats and artwork and all kinds of. You got like a triple level.
Yeah.
And it's just you got just rock gardens all over the place, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I really do like that in the fact that it's got all that extra stuff. When you go into your command center, all the monitors like lift up automatically, the animate and stuff. That's pretty cool. Okay, so let's talk about the next thing that came out in version 9. I say version 9 when it's really version 0.9 because version 1 hasn't even come out yet. But I call it version 9. I'm sorry. The Murray Cup, right? We've seen the map. You fly around racing people. You can play solo by yourself. You can play against other players. And there's 3 levels. A lot of people don't realize this, but there are 3 levels to the Murray Cup. You can okay, let me back up. I'm fixing the video. That's the video that I waited, and I decided I'd reload. There we go. Okay. So the Murray Cup, you can actually play like the level 1. The level 1 is only like 10 waypoints. You just fly through 10 waypoints, and that's a lap. Where like level 2 was like 20 waypoints. I flew through level 2, and you go through all the different buildings. You make multiple turns and climbs, where in the other one it was just like a figure 8. 1 is like a figure 8. But like 2, I didn't try 3 yet. So, have you tried all 3 of them?
I've only tried the single one that we did with, who did we do it with? I don't remember who we did it with. I don't know. We did it with the 3 of us, and that's the only one I've done. I'm not too big into racing, so I'm probably, like I said, I'm going to be flying giant space cows, so I'm not going to learn very well.
Okay. All right. Well, the next thing we want to talk about is Arena Commander and some of the things that are taking place in the dogfighting, right? We got the co-op Vandal Swarm, where you can go in and fight the Vandal cooperatively instead of all by yourself. What do you think about that?
I love that idea. It's about time we finally have that in this game. I am more than and start, figuring out our strategies for the eventual future game for the actual PU. So,
yeah, well, we can't do private matches, but we can do public matches. So we can go into the Vandal Swarm with people we don't know, but at least they're humans and they're not the AI. But every experience that I've had, and this might be unfortunate for me, but every experience I have, just like this one, because I'm going into cooperative Vandal Swarm right here on the screen, which I don't think I gave you access to yet.
How do you?
There you go, because we got disconnected. Okay, so this is cooperative Vandal Swarm, and there are 2 people with me when we start, but they immediately disconnect. So it wound up being me with no wingmen. And so that's one thing I don't like about it, is that, but that's the risk you take, So, but I think if I had friends with me, or if I had players that actually were serious about staying in the match, then it would be a different story. So.
And yeah, I mean that's how it works for every game. So I'm not surprised there. So.
Yeah, and as you can see, I'm using my IR head tracker, Track IR. That's actually my next topic on my list, where I can actually look around, and I can lean forward and lean back, twist and everything, and my crosshair will actually follow me. Well, I found out that turret weapons on the Hornet do not shoot up at all. Did you know? They only shoot, they pivot on one axis. They turn in a circle. And they don't go, they go up and down maybe,
for a slight degree.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe 5 degrees at the most. Because there was guys that I'm trying to turn on and trying to get a bead on them. So I'm looking up to get my turret guns to fire up, but they don't. They still fire straight forward. Something also. It's a lot easier to adjust your energy and adjust your weapon groups with this new HUD. I totally like the new HUD and the new way to do it. As you can see, I've adjusted my energy, and for some reason, as soon as I start this map, I start flying backwards. You died. Yep, I've died. Guess what? It's because I go full throttle
backwards,
and all of a sudden I go backwards. I'm like, what the heck? And then who's this guy? He's just sitting there.
This is turning out to be a good game.
No. No. But the Track IR, I love it. I love it for the purpose of looking around and being able to see and adjust, my situational awareness. But I don't like it controlling my turret, because it's just so not glitchy, but I can't get that fine precision aiming that I can get with my mouse. Mm-hmm. With the joystick, I don't get that because I can't really move that crosshair around with my joystick. But with the mouse, you can. So I have a feeling like the mouse will be a much better way to control the guns, and but joysticks, you have more control over your flying. So I can roll, I can pitch, I can yaw, I can do all that with the joystick, but I can't do that with the mouse.
Yeah.
Right. So, but the mouse helps with aiming gimbaled or turreted weapons. So it's kind of a toss-up, especially when the area you're trying to hit is those little yellow boxes.
Yeah, see, I was actually having a hard time when I was doing the game that I was doing with you, because I was like dead. Because aren't the 2 boxes representing your 2 different sets of weapons?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I was like, I swear could not hit him. Yeah. I swear I was pointing into the yellow box, the number 2 box,
right,
to try and hit, and I was missing every time. So I don't know if it's because of my flying or because it was set off differently or something like that. I don't know, but I was having a hard time with it.
Yeah, somebody was telling me that your number 1 box is not long enough and your number 2 box is not short enough. So if you fire just past the number 1 box with your first firing group, you're going to possibly hit. And if you shoot just under the 2 box, you're going to hit.
Okay, that's probably why I was having such a hard time then.
Yeah, so they don't actually have, it's just kind of an idea of where you should shoot. It's not an exact science.
Okay.
Because don't forget, he's going to be turning, he's throttling up, he's throttling down. He's also trying not to get hit, so.
Then, with that, then I think they should just get rid of it then. Because I thought it was a lot easier, personally, at least for me, when they were just flying around and I could just gauge it myself, being like, okay, I'm missing these shots, so I need to pull forward. When I have those boxes there, I have the tendency of wanting to say, okay, shoot number 2 box, and I'm missing, but I'm shooting a number 2 box. What's going on? And I don't
lock onto them.
Yeah, and I guess it's just like a mental thing, but it's, I just need to realize that I don't need to shoot in the 2 box. I can shoot forward. It's just so used to playing games with boxes, and it's like if you shoot in that box, like with War Thunder, if you shoot in the little circle, you'll most likely hit them.
Right. They're trying to take away they're not trying to make it easier for you. They're trying to make it harder for you.
Which is fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was too easy before because, well, for one thing, all of our weapons used to be gimbaled. And so you could just point in the general direction of them and the weapons would be able to adjust and be able to track and hit the enemy. But now they're not gimbaled. A lot of them are not gimbaled. So waiting for my broadcaster. So if it's not gimbaled, you have to shoot more precisely, or I don't know what I'm trying to say. You gotta put those crosshairs right on, because the guns aren't going to make that adjustment for you.
Yeah, and just my last little thing with it. When I was in my 300i and I didn't have gimbaled weapons, because you can still put gimbaled weapons on depending on which attachment you connect the gun to the ship. I didn't realize it, but man, I was. I don't know if it was just because of the 300 design, but in order for me to hit them when they're like even relatively close to me, they're like into my dashboard, so I can't even see them anymore. And it was so difficult to hit them. And I don't know, maybe I just sucked at it, which I wouldn't doubt. But I could not hit them with my main cannons for the life of me, for some reason, after this new patch.
Yeah, it's a different learning curve. Yeah, it's a lot harder. But just understand that TrekIR is even harder than that.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Yeah, and if you notice, I don't know if you're watching the video, but if you notice, like, I'm shooting off to the side, and I'm trying to track him with my head, but it's hard. My crosshair is kind of moving around. And I'm kind of giving up a little bit, where I'm just locking my head on my shoulders straight ahead and just positioning the ship to get a good shot. So I'm flying to get a good shot, not using my head. And because my head's just not, I don't know, it's just not precise enough. I think that's...
that, the Oculus Rift will do better.
I don't, maybe. But what I'm finding is that, with my TrekIR, for me to be able to look completely behind me, I have to change the percentage. So like my percentage is set at 1.6. So if I'm looking forward and I turn my head 90 degrees, well, if you multiply that by 1.6, that's how many degrees it moves in the game. So I get maybe a 170 degrees, not a full 180, but I get like 170 degrees, and so I can almost look behind me without my head having to turn more than 90 degrees. So I can keep my eyes on the monitor, basically.
Oh yeah, see that'd be the thing that would suck. That I think for at least the Oculus Rift it would do better is, you can keep your eyes technically on the screen at all times while you're turning your head.
Right, right.
So.
I can see that. I can see that, but I don't necessarily want to have a big, huge, monstrous device on my head like that. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, and I don't want to be. I want to be able to glance down at my keyboard and see what keys are there.
That's the other problem. I think if you get it with like the joystick, and because there aren't too many buttons on the well, I guess there are quite a lot of buttons on the Rhino, but once you get used to it, then you should just be able to just feel it without even having to look.
Right, right.
And
and
that's
once
just
they
better.
and once they get the customization in, because
Yeah.
they did add keyboard customizations in the fact that they had presets, but they don't have like where I can change what button actually does the eject or what button actually does the lock on target. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm stuck with the choices that they've already made for me, and they've made more than one, which is good. Now I've got some options. That's a step in the right direction, but I still need to be able to say I want this key to be my eject button and not Alt L.
Yeah.
But I guess they don't want it to be one button because then you might accidentally eject.
Which is smart.
Yeah, yeah. Another thing that they've changed is the speed that you're traveling. Okay, and this is a sore spot for me because I fly a slow ship. But you're looking at, okay, this is just me thinking outside the box. The in-game reasoning of why we fly so slow in space is because of the G-forces that would be applied to the human body during certain turns. So they've artificially the control system inside your ship prevents your ship from flying so fast. Okay, so that you can make these turns and not, get splattered inside your cockpit. You can turn those off, and then you can like black out and red out a lot easier. But if they're on, it keeps you flying under a certain speed so that you don't pass out. You with me so far? Mike?
I'm here.
Okay. You with me?
Yes.
Did you understand what I was saying?
Yes.
Okay. So, with certain ships being able to fly faster than others in space in a dogfight, I totally disagree with that. Because if you're... Now, I understand acceleration should be different and maneuverability should be different based on your thrusters. Okay, I'm okay with that. But max speed for every ship should be the same because your human body is the same. It might be different for aliens. They might have a different type of speed threshold that they can reach. But okay, let's look at the 350R or the M50. My understanding is it can fly at 300 units, whatever those are, meters per second. So 300, right? And the Hornet can only fly at 200. Are they saying that Hornet pilots are weaker so they can't turn at 300 like a 350 pilot can?
I'm going to kind of stop you there, and I don't think it's necessarily that they're weaker per se. I think what it is that in the realistic sense of space and how it works, I think it's just how much output the engine can output. If it's simple, let's put it in car form. If a car can put out 100 horsepower, or the ship can put out 100 horsepower, then it's going to go, 50. What'd you say, 300 or 200 meters a second. But the other ship can put out 200 horsepower, so it can go 300. That's just because it can just put out more power. It's not that the pilot's necessarily weaker. It's just the ship isn't powerful enough to do it. That's how I see it.
Okay, and I believe that's what the whole thinking is at CIG.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to tell you that's 100% not physically accurate.
Really? Okay.
Everything in space can fly the same speed. Okay, it might take me longer to get there, but I'm going to be able to fly at the same speed.
Yeah.
because there's no resistance. The only resistance
True.
is the speed of light. so as I get closer to the speed of light, my mass increases. But the difference between 200 meters and 300 meters per second is negligible. So if I have an engine that puts out like 1 horsepower, let's just say, 1 foot-pound, it pushes. Now it's going to push my ship very slowly. And if I have another ship that puts out 2 horsepower or 2 foot-pounds, it's going to get to the maximum allowed velocity faster because it can put out more energy. So it will have more acceleration and it'll get there faster, but the top speed should be the same. Because the only limiting factor is the flight computer, not space. See, our flight computers are holding us back so that the pilots don't die when we turn.
Okay, that makes sense.
So when we're turning, we don't like get splattered, into the cockpit or whatever. So I don't understand why the Hornet can't fly 300. Now, inside an atmosphere, sure. I have no problem with the 300i flying twice as fast as a Hornet because it's more aerodynamic. It looks, more sleek and even if it has a bigger engine, it can overcome the resistance of the atmosphere. Where in space there's no atmosphere to resist. So even if the Hornet has a smaller engine, it should eventually be able to get up to 300. Maybe gets to 200 real fast and then slowly climbs to 300. I can see that.
Then the only thing I would honestly say is the reason why they're doing it is for the fact of it is a video game, that there has to be some limits within the game.
Right.
Because, I'd agree with you that it makes complete sense. But,
So that's a, if they're trying to appease the non-video gamers, basically they're trying to appease the space flight sim guys. If they're doing that, then they need to appease them. If they're trying to make a game, which I hope they are, and I don't mind the game being gamey, but I don't like it being so gamey that it's taking away from my immersion, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Chris is about trying to he wants to make it as realistic as possible. I know he does. But he also wants to make it fun to play. And so by limiting your speed based on the type of engine and how heavy you are, then he needs to come up with another reason why he's limiting speed and not that it's going to hurt the pilot. You see what I'm saying? Or he could say that Hornets are, because they're so heavy in weapons, I'm just throwing this out there, because they're so heavy in weapons and so underpowered, they don't have enough inertial compensators inside the ship to prevent pilot damage, so they have to fly slower.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So, what I'm saying is he needs to come up with another reason, Or
just come up just with some sort of lore, just to be like, okay, we can accept this.
Right, exactly right. Okay, I spoke too much on speeds. Now let's talk about 6 degrees of freedom. Okay, now with our joysticks, we have a hat switch that allows us to go straight up, straight down, straight left, straight right. Okay, we also, on our throttle, we have a wheel that we can use to wheel forward and to wheel backwards. So we can actually move straight forward, move straight back. I like that. I like it. That way, if I need to make any like small, precise maneuvers, I can actually do a, like a, I don't know what you would call it, like a vertical climb, where I'm just pushing straight up. That's kind of cool. Or if I was trying to land, I could like get directly over the land. Okay, video just went down. Waiting for it to come back. Okay, so like if I'm over a landing zone, I can actually just press the down button and it'll just go down, straight down and land. Okay, those are great for that. In a dogfight, I'm not seeing it as super useful. a lot of people say, oh yeah, you could just push left and dodge a missile, and you can just uh, you can you can push up on your hat, and you can, avoid that incoming shot. And I'm like, no, that's not me. Me would be to pull back on the joystick.
Yeah, and I'll the way I see it, because I understand what you're getting at, is it's just going to be too complicated. That's just one extra thing that you're going to have to worry about. Because flying enough is already difficult. There's a lot you have to worry about, and now you have to worry about another 6 degrees that you can go in.
It can be useful at times, but
Yeah.
just not in a dogfight, I don't think.
And see, and I'm kind of the other direction. I agree with you because I think it'll be just too difficult. But I think there'll be people out there that are already good and talented at flying games, and they'll be able to use that to their advantage.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm just talking about for me.
Oh,
Because-
okay.
Yeah, because if somebody's gonna be shooting at me, I'm gonna be moving my joystick from left to right all over the place. I'm not gonna be worrying about taking that little 6 degree of freedom and kind of push up on it to get a little extra turn. Not gonna do it. Now, I have used it in a dogfight at one point. There was a terraforming device, and I was coming around the terraforming device, but the enemy was close to the terraforming device, so I had to fly over and keeping my nose down so that I could point at the target while I flew over the terraforming device. And so I used the 6 degrees of movement. I used the up hat so that I was flying vertically, with my nose pointing at and I felt that was useful. But I don't think in general out in deep space I'm going to be using that.
No, if there's like nothing, like if it's just space and there's nothing in your way, no, I don't think it'll be a big deal. But when there's like asteroids and space stations and things you can actually maneuver around, yeah, I think then it'll come into some serious, because there'll be a lot more strategy involved than just open space.
Right. Yeah, so it's just a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an extra thing.
Yeah.
Now, all right. Well, we've actually talked about everything, right? We talked about the hangars, the Murray Cup, Arena Commander, which we're talking about now, the co-op Vandal Swarm, the Track IR problems that I'm having, speed changes, targeting changes, the gimbals, they don't change. Okay, I was watching a video from a guy about gimbaling, right? And he specifically spent a whole video just talking about gimbaling and why it helps and hurts the game at the same time. He's saying, truly, you're in space, it's going to be hard to track or whatever, and weapons need to have some form of gimbaling, but why do our traditional guns or whatever, they don't gimbal as much as what we're trying to do in Star Citizen? We're trying to gimbal them 80 degrees or something. I mean, we're like the whole. Now they should only gimbal. They should only really gimbal about just a few degrees around your crosshair just to make it a little bit more accurate.
Mhm.
And gimbaling, it doesn't really help if the computer doesn't assist you with that. So you need to have, the computer needs to be able to lock onto a target. I need to be able to lock onto a target and then have my ship try to target it. And I understand that there's going to be targeting computers that you can buy later and add onto your ships that's going to let you do exactly that. So, but in Arena Commander right now, they're just trying to find out what the happy medium is between hard and easy. But he was saying, let me get back to what he was saying. He was saying that if you're going to take a weapon system and you're going to take the gimbal away from it, then it needs to have a different advantage. Because if gimbaling becomes like the weapon of choice, everybody's going to get those weapons that can be gimbaled. But if there's certain cannons or mass drivers or whatever that can't be gimbaled, then people aren't going to use them unless they do an insane amount of damage, or they don't take any energy, or there's no ammo, or blah blah blah. So he's just saying that gimbaling is just one of the various advantages that you have to consider when you're play balancing.
Okay, that makes sense then. I like that idea.
Yeah, because gimbaling is an advantage. I mean, it will shoot where you're not aiming, basically. Same thing with the turret. The turret, I can shoot left and right. I really think it should be able to shoot up, but, maybe not real high up, but at least a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and I understand not down because he's shooting directly into the cockpit, but because the turret would be like pointing down and hitting the glass.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, we'll just go ahead and end that and get back to the cockpit here. Okay, Marius or Mary.
Oh my gosh.
Did you have anything else that you wanted to kind of like share with our audience? Let's look at. I'm just going to read some of the questions if there was any. Plague Doctor of Nigeria says he didn't know that this game supported joysticks, so now he needs the game. And another guy just says it doesn't look bad. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't have anything else that I wanted to share tonight, and that's it. So I just want to. End the call. End the call, end the well, it's a Skype call, but end the show. So, any last questions? Nope. Okay. Well, thanks, Marius. I appreciate you coming and talking with us. Parasite couldn't make it tonight. He had to go pick up his wife. So, I'll see you in the verse.
See you, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Awesome.